We are live. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to my Zoom. I we
Yeah,
are live. Good
we
morning.
are.
What do we have?
Good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
Good things. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters, where we are the only district that does Facebook Live, and we are District 115, excuse me, where we are part of Southern Nevada, Nevada, and a little part of Utah. I got that from Eugene. A little part of, and Arizona as well, too.
Mhm.
Just a little, Arizona.
A teeny part of Arizona.
Yeah. Well, we have Jean Williams here today. I'm super excited to have her. When Jean Dunford told me that you were coming on, I said immediately that I'm glad because I'm going to interview you as district director. You come on the show every single time when you're on the show, and you are a host or a co-host of the show, and we hear what's going on with the district, but I know that's just the surface of being a district director. So I'm really curious what has been going on in your district director life in the past, what, 2 months, 3 months,
3
August,
months.
September, October. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been the first quarter's over.
wow. How
Yeah,
well, not technically, is it? Oh yeah, July, August, September. Oh
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Wow. That's quick. So
yeah.
you set off the year with goals. What were your goals for what are the goals for District 115?
Well, the unmeasurable goal is I want everybody to be in the clubs that they enjoy and they look forward to going to, and that they're happy and that they're getting what they need out of the club, be it improved speaking, improved leadership, or both. But that's not a measurable thing so much. So the measurable part is I'd like to see all of our clubs get to 12 members or more so they can give that experience to the people who are visiting. And I'd like to see um, just the our district growing and people being more involved in the things outside of their clubs. So we're struggling. So we had a little trouble getting all of our area directors, and now we've lost one. So now we're
Yes.
back in need of an area director. So if you're in District 115 and would like to be an area director, let us know. It would be for the last 9 months of the year. So you wouldn't, the requirements are not as stringent. So maybe you've been thinking about it.
And you still get your credit for it as well. Oh, you
No,
don't? Oh, so that's
no.
the tough
Yeah,
part.
they had to be on board by September 1st to get credit. So this would be a kind of a way to have fun and a way to learn. Or if you've already been an area director and you don't need it for your district credit, maybe you're already a distinguished Toastmaster, then, why not just go ahead and do it and help out? So unfortunately, though, they had to, I think way back when, I think perhaps people were signing in like 3 weeks before the end of the year and getting credit for the full year. So
Now,
just,
there should be some kind of prorated, but that's a different
yeah.
time. But there should be, or topic, there should be prorated months, 6 months or more. But
Um,
anybody who wants to be that area director, it is a very fun job from what I heard. I haven't done that. I'm going down the leadership ladder instead of going up the leadership ladder. So,
I think you
or
miss out if
I'm going like this and this.
I think you miss out if you're not an area director. I mean, I kind of went in not overly joyed, but it was required to get my distinguished Toastmaster. I mean, I think that's why most people do it. Would
Yeah.
like to think, oh, they do it out of the goodness of their heart, but I think most people do it because they want their distinguished Toastmaster. And I was the
Yes.
same. But when
Yes.
I got in, I was so excited because I had a chance to visit. I had 4 clubs. I was in one of them, and then I had 3 others, and I got to meet people I never would have met and see clubs I never would have seen. One was a corporate clubs, of course, you're never going to see those unless you join the company. So those, of course,
Mhm.
you're getting something you couldn't get otherwise. But just meeting some fabulous people. One went on to be one of my area directors. One of them from one of those clubs is a division director now. So it's exciting to see and meet all the different people. And then they get to see also, because I was very active and I'd visit my clubs as often as possible. And
Mhm.
I think they got to see area directors because sometimes the area directors don't visit the clubs. They should. They're supposed to visit twice a year, but if they only do the mandatory what's the least I can do attitude,
Yeah.
and they don't come often and they don't visit the clubs often, then the club withers, and the club also doesn't understand what leadership opportunities there are.
Yeah. And we did a very good job, or you did, or Ken did, who did that very good job of demonstrating. Sherry and Phyllis did a really good job at demonstrating on how to find those people, those members to climb up in leadership. So they did a really, really, really good job at that.
Yeah.
And that's part of the area director and part of having fun. So I like the way that you have the immeasurable goal, but the ones that you can measure with people getting involved, because then you'll see more people getting involved. You'll see clubs growing, and that will make the club members having an experience, a happy experience, as you are trying to accomplish. Because I think, and I don't know, because I don't have that access anymore. Drives me crazy because I had access once upon a time, but I can't see where the clubs are growing. Or have we gained new members in the past 3 months?
Well, we're at a due cycle right now. So I think, and then Toastmasters has said they're having trouble posting some of the dues.
Correct.
So right this moment on paper,
Mhm.
we're a little bit shy of members in some clubs. So I'm hoping that picks up in the next week or two, with people
Yes.
who, maybe didn't get their dues in time, or the clubs that haven't processed all the dues and everything. So we're a little bit weak right now. So
Okay.
it's not
But
great.
the question is not that we've dropped some, but have we gained any new members? Do you know that?
I don't
Or
have
not
that.
any? You don't have that? Okay, that was
I
just
mean,
a question because I
we've
know that
gained members, but I don't know if those are brand new Toastmasters or not.
Gotcha. All right.
Um,
So because I feel like the rumblings of growth, I feel like the buds are pushing through the dirt.
Yeah.
So I do feel that excitement going on, especially like Valley Voices and Vices. I think we'll have a couple of new members by the end of the week, and maybe 2 more. So
That's
that will
good.
be, yeah, that would be really, really cool. So I know one's filling out her application, and I'm hoping that she gets her sister to fill out. And then there was a young couple that came that was really excited. So I'm hoping that they will also fill out their application. So I'm excited. That's why I feel like there's a bud and rising people. I think Jean and I were talking about this last week, that I think the job market is getting a little tight out there, where people realize that either they're going to venture on into something new, or they are going to have to polish up their communication skills to compete. And what a better way than $54 or $45 every 6 months to do that, right?
I think when new members join, it's kind of like they join because they need to get something out of the club, which is great. But I
Mhm.
think it just adds this new life to the membership. People get excited about having somebody new, and then helping that person, because we all remember that the new person helps us remember where we were way back when we joined. The new
Yeah.
person helps us remember the fear we had at giving our icebreaker, and helps us kind of ground us back to, oh, I
Yeah.
still have growth to do. I still have things I can do. I can mentor, I can help, I can be available. So I think that's where the new members are helpful to the club. And then of course the club is helpful to the new members, because it's the safe place where you can come and give a speech and be scared to death, and nobody's laughing and poking at you like they did in high school or college.
Yeah.
And nobody's like, smirking the whole time you're speaking, because they just know they want you to succeed. And then
Yeah,
you feel it.
absolutely. That is an exciting thing. And I like to see Maria and George, like in our club, for real people that we can talk about, that they do get really, really excited when new members come on board. So they do a really good job at mentoring and keeping us all in line. So if Maria and George, you're watching, thank you for that. Now, something exciting is coming up, which is October 22nd, our Hall of Fame, which is another event that was created out of the necessity of from the pandemic. And it is a celebration of you explain it to me. It's a celebration of, you tell me.
Okay. Well, way back when we had fall contests. So there were two contests in the fall and two in the spring, and people enjoyed coming together those 2 times a year as a district. Well, then over time, we didn't have the fall contest. I'm sorry, my burglar alarm's going off in the other room.
Yeah.
But
It's the cleaning lady day. I know that.
as time went along, we didn't have the fall contest. And then what it compounded it is because of the pandemic, we had all these people who'd won trophies online back in fall of 2020, but we had never been able to give them their trophies. So Kristen, our Harold, who was our district director at the time, said, "Hey, what if we have a Hall of Fame and we have people come, but we were still socially distancing, so we just had them come through the parking lot at a church and drive through, handed them their trophies so they could stand back." I'm not saying it's over, but I'm glad that we know more about it now. And then the next year we had a little more gathering, but at the church still, where we're outside open air. So this will be the first year we're back doing something, and we're going to have a luncheon. It's going to be a Hall of Fame luncheon event. It's going to be nice, and this will be except for one of the things I'll be awarding is the incentives for the people who want incentives for the July, August, September quarter. One of them was update your computer site. And one of them is the 100% officers train. So those I'll get to give out. Yeah, so that'll be fun. But other than that, all the rest of the awards and everything else, all the recognition is what Carol Campbell got to do for her year ended June 30th. So she still has not announced her area director of the year or her division director of the year. Plus, if she, I don't know if she'll do a memorial or legacy award or not. But it'll be other recognition of other people who did things to help her throughout her district director year.
Oh, I thought we did that at the conference. That's why.
We did all of it at the conference except for the Toastmaster. No, I'm sorry, not Toastmaster, the district director, the division director of the year and area director of the year. Those we have not announced. Those will be announced.
Okay.
So I'm excited because everybody works so hard, and it's hard. I'm glad I don't have to. Next year I'll have to make that decision, but right now it's not my decision, so I'm glad. And I think, but next year will be mine next fall, and so the things I don't know exactly what Carol has planned, but the things I will have planned for mine is to thank the people who are more behind the scenes, like our public relations manager and our finance manager and our administrative manager, those people who work real hard all year, and they are district leaders, so they get that recognition, but you don't really ever see them thanked. So that's what I plan next fall, October 2023, is to thank those people who did other jobs like our club support team and things like that. So those are the recognition I want to give next year. So I assume Carol will do similar things this year.
Yes, I almost want to quote the great Jesse Oakley that it's not June 30th yet,
Right.
But okay, so that's fun. Now, I told my online club that I belong to 3 clubs, and I told my online club that I'm sure that I call it this administration. This administration is really online friendly. Will we be able to have some kind of hybrid with the Hall of Fame, or is it just going to be?
I understand it'll be at least at the very minimum streamed.
Okay, yeah.
So that our members can see it. I don't know how much interaction there'll be, because a lot of it's going to be eating, which we can't give them online, unfortunately, and it's going to be handing out awards. So there isn't a lot of applauding. There's applauding, but there isn't, like a meeting. So it will be streamed where they can see who's getting what award and have that. I don't have the agenda yet. I'm not privy to that. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to sit down with Carol and Ken, and we'll figure out the agenda that will work. But speaking of your online folks, we're excited because this conference in May will be hybrid. And
Yeah.
that means that we will have online contestants and online
Mhm.
judges and in-person contestants and in-person judges and a little bit of everything. And they did the international convention that way. And
Yes.
we were really curious, how are they going to do that?
Yes.
And it was really good. This was the one that was in Nashville. 4 of the contestants they had, when you finish the district, you go to the quarterfinals and then the semifinals. And then those semifinal winners go to the world stage.
The stage.
The world. But the semifinals, there were 4 semifinals, and each one had one person online, one online contestant, and the other 7 were in person, or maybe 2 and 6. It was a good number. And then
Yes.
half a good number of the judges were online and in person. It was a good mix, and it was well balanced, so it represented the contestants. And the judges were also advised that you're not judging them based on their technology. You're
Yeah.
judging based on their presentation. It was really interesting though, but it was also good that of the 2 people per semifinal round that went forward, one was online and one was in person.
Yeah.
So that means the judges were very fair about all the contestants.
Yeah, absolutely. And my online in your online too, you have authors and inspiring authors, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yep.
part of that club. And they are, I'm sure, excited as well about the decision that the district has made. And that's why I explained to Toastmasters in the kitchen how the administration is very online friendly and has embraced all of the people from all around the world. So,
Yeah.
which is great.
Well, I think we have to. The thing is, like I've always, COVID shoved us through a door we weren't ready to walk through. But we're here, as far as like the meetings, and not talking about the pandemic itself. I'm talking about the side things that came out of it. So here we
Mhm.
are with these online abilities, and I went in kicking and screaming. I'll be honest, I went in absolutely. I was not going to do anything online. I had to because I was, the division director, but I was so against it because I retired from, well, the federal government. I think most of you know. And because of that, because of travel and budget and everything else, I never got to meet my coworkers in person ever.
Mhm.
So there were, for 10 years, I was in the same group with pretty much the same group of people, and never got to meet them in person. It
Oh
was
wow.
always this voice in the dark, online meetings. We didn't even have
Yeah.
no cameras, no nothing. These
Yeah.
voices in the dark. And I hated it. I hated that. It's very, you don't realize how even an online meeting with your employees brings them together. Just being able to see
Yes.
faces and
Yeah.
expressions and hear laughter and that interaction. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do another meeting online, but I'll just finish this year and I'll be done. But then Zoom opened a lot of doors, because there's a lot more things you can do with Zoom than you think. It's not just this. You see these photos of people
Yeah.
and you think, oh, that's not a very fun meeting. And you get this screenshot, every single person.
Yeah.
You think, that doesn't look a
Not
fun meeting
fun.
at all. But there's so many possibilities with it. I mean, if you think, not only can you sit at home with your fuzzy slippers where you used to have to go in person, people think about that. But if you think about, we have a member in one of our clubs that is 2.5 hours away from a Toastmaster meeting if she wanted to go in person. And she's been wanting to join Toastmaster for years, and can't because she's so remote. When Zoom opened up, she's just having a blast.
She's
Visiting
visiting
different
everybody.
clubs, and
Yeah.
she picked one of my clubs to join, which is so great. And hey, Carolyn, if you're listening, and because she wouldn't have been able to join otherwise. So there's that. People who are
Mhm.
caretakers, people with little children who can't get away from them. There's so many people. But even if you look at a company, if you have a company with multiple locations, maybe you couldn't have a Toastmasters club before, but now
Yeah.
you can. If you have
Yeah.
4 locations, or you have people scattered throughout the city or throughout the region, depending on what sort of business you have. Whereas before you didn't have an office, or an office with 50 people. Now you can still have a Toastmaster meeting where you let everybody off an hour early and they all attend from their home.
Yeah.
or their home office or their region office or whatever it is you would like to have them do. And the companies can still have these great Toastmaster clubs now.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities that opened up. So I'm excited about it. Do I
Yeah.
like in-person meetings better or online meetings better? It depends on the day of the week, I think,
Yeah.
or the time
Uh,
of day. There's pluses and minuses to both. There's a plus to online. You can see all the faces. If you're in person, you're doing one of these, because
yeah.
in person, you get to have those side conversations, which are really great. You don't get that online. So there's pluses and minuses, but I do think overall, the online meetings, we shouldn't dismiss them or feel like we're giving something substandard because we're not.
Correct. Toastmasters in the kitchen, even though we, gosh, the majority of our members that we have are across the country, and we have bonded. It's a great club that we are concerned about our fellow Toastmasters who are up and down the coast. And we talk periodically, hey, how you doing? Even outside of our group texting that, we'll talk to this person and this person. So we're gaining friendship that eventually we are going to have a trip and probably all go meet somebody, not even in Vegas, go to Idaho or Canada or Florida to meet someone. And it's a great way of networking too. And so like you said, that the pandemic opened up doors or pushed us through doors that we weren't ready for. And I think it's opened up a whole world of possibilities and opportunities, especially for Toastmasters.
Yeah.
And I hope that more Toastmasters or even more members embrace the online. I personally 100% do love the in-person, and sometimes I even with Toastmasters in the kitchen, I'll invite people over to eat because I want people. I'm
But
going
then
to
you
get
never
a
would have met them if it hadn't have been for an online meeting.
well, that is true.
So,
So, but
I
I
mean,
do want a shirt that says being social is my jam, and not even being on social media. It's like I need people,
well, I think that, but the hard part is, okay, the clubs, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. I think, but it's interesting that there's some clubs where when I had them in person, the exact same club,
Mhm.
the minute the meeting ended, Susie had to rush off to work. Never got to speak to her. She'd come running in because she had to get the kids to school. So I never got to see her before or after a meeting. Now we're online. There's a little bit more of that extra little time. So, you get a few sentences or and people, I think, try to get there a few minutes early and have conversations. I mean, at authors, we make a big deal out of it. We have our epilogue, which is a half hour before, and our prologue. I'm sorry, I got it the other way. Prologue, which is a half hour before the meeting, and epilogue a half hour after. We purposely have these chats. And at first I said, how is that going to work? And Jean Dunford is just so outgoing. It's just,
Yes, yes.
it would never, it won't work if you don't have an outgoing person. But, it's just like, hey, it's like, it's good to see you. You can just see him kind of scanning the
Yeah,
screen for people to talk to.
he's running the room.
But you need somebody like that, because I've been to, whenever there's an online club, I try to go early and they'll have, social. So I went to one and said, we have our social time for 15 minutes before. So I thought, okay, good. I'm going to get there right at 15 minutes before, have a chance to listen and chat and have be part of the conversation. So I get there, every single person.
Yeah.
Or their box is blank and they're just not there.
Yeah.
I thought, well, okay, so that wasn't much of a social time there. But I think it does take being creative. And one club I was in, they have a breakout room. And if you want to have a conversation with a private, you can just like say, hey, come into the breakout, and you could go, which is the same as being in a meeting room and having that side conversation. So I think there's so many things that can be done. Like we have
that
game
came
night.
out of the first original game night, right? Because we were breaking out into rooms and having
we still have game night. See, game night's a chance really to have a blast. Game night is absolutely, you got to come. We're getting more people now. We started out with a whole lot of people, which we weren't counting on. So we're like racing around trying. It was very, if you go to something the very first time they have it, you got to be patient that it may not be exactly what you envisioned. But we learned, unfortunately, a lot of people who came the first game night, well, that was horrible. And they never came back. They didn't give us a chance to kind of ride the wave and get this working.
Yeah.
But now we do. It's a lot of fun. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
We
Now I
can
got both dogs.
actually, we can hear them, but we can't hear them.
Oh, good. Okay. But
Yeah.
that's
I
good
mean,
because
you know what I
they're
mean?
over
It's
there.
just a little background. So
Oh, good.
just know that.
Okay.
Mhm.
But I think the game night though, now we're getting more people now. It's usually about 10 people. But it's just
Yeah.
like going to somebody's house, and it's a lot of laughs. It's a lot of fun. We try games. Sometimes they succeed, and we found out Scrabble was good, but we're probably not going to do that again because it was a lot of. Well, the only way I knew to do it was one of my skills from Toastmasters in the kitchen with the camera over the top of the game board, and the
Mhm.
game board, and I was kind of the game moving the little tiles all around, and because the online ones were like one person games.
Yeah.
So we couldn't find a group online. So we tried it. Okay, I wouldn't say it failed because it didn't fail. We had a lot of fun, but
Mhm.
we also kind of went, it wasn't worth the work.
Yeah.
But we've had like murder mysteries online, and we've had
The
we found
escape.
it was kind of fun. We found an escape room challenge at one of the libraries. Libraries have a lot of free stuff. If you don't know, you got to go. And if you're a member of the library, go join your club. But
Library 2.0. That's it.
Library 2.0, you have a club, go join. If you're a Clark County Library employee, go. But they had this, so we got this escape room challenge from Tehachapi Library. Thank you, Tehachapi Library. And we got to this one, there's all these riddles and all this stuff. They're very academic, of course, because it's a library. So a lot of books, like it was a Harry Potter kind of thing. And all of a sudden it came upon this question, and none of us could figure it out. And it was like asking for the call number. So that, what do they mean? The Dewey Decimal number? Do they mean the ISP number, whatever it's called? So we're just scrambling and scrambling. And we're stuck. We can't get out of this escape room. Do we just give up and stop? What do we do? And finally, one of the members all of a sudden had this number, and it worked. We said, well, where did you get that? He said, I went to the Tehachapi Library website and I found the number. So it was, I guess, that library's call number. Okay, so we did find it. We got out of the room. We're still alive.
And that's what all about the escape room, right? It's something that is so obvious, or not obvious, but obvious. So
yeah, but come to game night. If you're missing game night, come to game night. It's a lot of fun. And you do get that chance to interact with people, and it's online, but you get to interact with them. And they're all from all different clubs. So the nice thing is, at least you know a familiar face if you go to that club. So yeah. So we're trying. We're trying for just different ways to include everybody. And I think the hybrid, back full circle, the hybrid conference in May will be the thing with the final piece we need to bring everybody
in together. Jean, the ideas that you've had from the time that we started, when you're the quality growth and then they continue through you now as a district director. I think that we are very fortunate to have you as a district director, as a leader for the club growth, when you were club growth, and then quality director, and now district director. I think that as we grow, that it will be very hard to fill your shoes because of all the innovations that you made, innovative ideas. I'm trying to find that word, innovative ideas that you've had to have people have fun and also to grow. I think that for those of you who are members, who are prospects that are coming through our show and saying, oh, what are you guys talking about? I think that you are missing out by not being involved in the district. As we said, we have an area director that needs to be filled position. I think we probably still need a photographer. I think that we probably need a little bit more of a committee for our public relations manager. These are committees and support that Jean does need. And with her leadership, you will be able to have a little fun, learn a little something, and help the district grow. So if you need anything, or if you want to say, hey, I want to join, I want to help, I want to participate, let Jean know, put it in the comments, and she will be able to see it and reach out to you. And Jean, I hope that your rest of the 3/4 of this year is a success. And it's been fun watching the past 2 years, watching you grow.
Well, thank
Are
you.
there any other comments? Because our time is up, way up.
Thank you, everybody, and look for lots of things going on. Look for new incentives, look for all the fun stuff coming through our newsletter. Make sure you're reading the newsletter.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Well, that is the end of my time today. Am I going to be on Friday? Or is that going to be standing? Is it Friday now?
We'll talk. Let's go
Okay.
off live.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So that's end of my time today, Wednesday. And then Thursday, you'll have Scott and Phyllis tomorrow. I love watching them. They're so insightful. And then who knows, I may be here on Friday, but if not, I'll see you again on Wednesday. Have a good day and enjoy your Wednesday. Hold on.